Breaking news. I am Jashay Miller, veteran and petitioner of the Constitution's checks and balances. The entire United States government is corrupt, which includes the President Joe Biden, United States Attorney General Merrick, Garland, United States Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, FBI Director Christopher Wray, FBI Washington Field Office Steven D Antuono, the United States Supreme Court, of which this is why this petition is filed. The entire judicial branch of government is corrupt, including the United States Supreme Court. Governor Eric Holcomb, Inspector General David Cook, that's the Indiana Inspector General, appointed by Eric Holcomb. Now, this is all fact, and they have to be held accountable for their actions. As a matter of fact, refusal to uphold the integrity of the Constitution requires President Joe Biden's impeachment. This is the continuance of President Trump's corruption, as the whole nation saw on Capitol Hill. First of all, we will start with the president. As you see, this petition using, as you see, the Constitution's checks and balances, which uphold the integrity of the Constitution, requiring the judicial branch be checked. They have refused to be checked, so there is no integrity within the system. As any questions asked, these are the certified mail receipts, as you see, to the President Joe Biden of the United States. This affirms it to be fact, not once, but twice. To the magnitude of anything like this, the President must uphold the Constitution and cannot evade. This is the code of ethics, to expose corruption wherever discovered. Now, as I said, taking oath of office, he swore to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, of which he's called to do the first order of business immediately, and this was February 5th, 2021. President Joe Biden, as the certified mail receipts affirmed to be fact, received this February the 9th, 2021, 3:41 a.m. I write them down so you can see or even check the certified mail receipt number on that. As the President is evading the Constitution's checks and balances. And why? As stated, the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. Now, because of disobedience of this, as I showed you the petition, there is a transfer of power. I'm going to make this make sense to you. It is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And when the government is corrupt, it empowers the citizens. I am the petitioner of the Constitution, checks and balances, which I am now empowered. I am empowered to stop police brutality, inequality, and social injustice. Prime time. Are you paying attention? Prime time. Because the checks and balances require national, world coverage, of which the media has not given as part of the cover-up. Now, every citizen is a public concern that the government is corrupt. So it is easy to figure they are covering this up, government cover-up. This is real, all right? So there is a transfer of power, as you will see on this. The checks and balances empowers the citizen to uphold the integrity of the Constitution, giving me, Jashay Miller, the authority or power to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience to the Constitution's checks and balances, requiring the judicial and legislative branch to be checked for corruption and abuse of power. Now, for those of Black Lives Matters, for those that you no longer have a right to freedom of the press, that is a guaranteed right. For the Constitution, it is the right of the citizens to expose and hold corrupt officials accountable. That's what the First Amendment is. Speech press. That means that the press has to cover this so that the government officials are exposed and can be held accountable. That's what the checks and balances do. They hold officials accountable, and greater than that, they secure the rights of we the people. As I said, originally intended, the legislative checks the judicial, who checks the executive, who checks the legislative, who checks the Supreme Court, to be checked. One branch checks the other branch, checks the other branch, but no branch checks nobody because they are all corrupt. That empowers me, the citizen, veteran, Jashay Miller, who served to protect these rights to freedom, justice, and equality that they are now violating the Constitution. As I said, as the president acknowledged publicly, he is supposed to acknowledge, I am empowered to uphold the integrity of the Constitution so that law enforcement, listen now, law enforcement can execute the indictments for their arrest. This February 4th, 2021, as well as an invitation to the White House. Yes, sir, Mr. Joe Biden, President of the United States, I have earned, as a petitioner, by law, a visit to the White House to address this. This is business. To defending the Constitution's checks and balances. Now we have a problem here because the FBI, Sheriff's Department, and both local and state police have been called to execute the indictments by arresting involved in the cahoots to prevent the checks and balances. Now, in this system, of course, we got the president, vice president. Next, that is the executive office. Then we have Congress, who makes these laws. But Congress also must be held accountable. So, as they must be held accountable, the president must be held accountable. Who does that? Congress does that. So, once again, the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland, the #1 law officer in the nation, also has refused to honor the Constitution checks and balances so that they are not held accountable, so they continue. As I am empowered, I have to be empowered. So being empowered, law enforcement executes these indictments and carries out these arrests. These arrests they have failed to do. Why? Easy example, the Inspector General David Cook is appointed by the Governor Eric Holcomb of Indiana. So that's his buddy, so he's not going to go out there and inform the public that the governor is corrupt and concealing the Constitution checks and balances, concealing the corruption in Indiana government. The entire Indiana government is also corrupt as well as that of the nation. So, once again, here you go. That requires courts to be shut down. Secretary Janet Yellen disbursed $6.75 billion to veteran Jashay Miller. Oh, yeah. That would be me. Yankees in the house. Yes, sir. That's right. Pay up. Disburse this money immediately. Oppression of a people requires immediate restitution. I have sent her meetings, appointments to do this. I have been on Capitol Hill at her office where her office refused to acknowledge my power as a black man, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Refused to let me in and give me money that I am owed, and guess what for? Slavery. The whole world needs to know this, because that's their whole bit. Slavery. The United States is supposed to be the #1 upholder to the right to freedom, justice, and equality. But as we see, police brutality. I am empowered to stop police brutality, inequality, and social injustice. That's what's at stake. I also am owed, as I said, $6.75 billion for continued oppression, which they could have paid off, which started with $50 million. It escalates all the way to the billions. They have no intention of upholding the integrity of the Constitution. No intentions. These are criminal acts. Title 18, Section 241, conspiracy to deny rights and oppress. This word oppress, meaning keep someone in subservience and hardship, especially by the unjust exercise of authority. That's what Janet Yellen did. Okay, so we have it right here so y'all can see once again. And all of these documents have the stamp of the court, and most of them also, they have the seal. And as I told the FBI, feel the seal. You know it's real. Honor me. Veteran who served to protect this. Now I'm empowered by the Constitution's checks and balances, which empowers the citizen. Why? Due to the disobedience of these officials refusing to honor the checks and balances. They must be checked. You gotta be checked. Have any integrity. Say, he's corrupt, but we're refusing to be checked. That is mandatory by law. Now that is a criminal act. Okay, so we have the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland, who I've faxed to have a meeting with no answer. They have no intentions. Janet Yellen, who I've sent emails to set a date to pay the $6.75 billion. Now, you have to pay attention to what the $1 billion is, because as you can see in this, I represent we the people. So in a pandemic era, representing we the people, I helped them out, just like the $1,000 did. Well, maybe some get $50,000, or it changed the whole perspective. That uplifts a person. That uplifts a family. Banks that now loan to those that don't have a 750 credit score. Maybe it's 400, maybe it's 500. Maybe they just human beings that need a chance in life, that need a loan to get them over the muddy waters and continue in life. And especially to those that don't have the financial stability to make it through this. You see, this is set up for, as once again, the oppressed to take the brunt of the maliciousness that's acting out here, as they refuse to honor the Constitution checks and balances to be checked. Now, as we check this agenda here, the Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen and the Speaker Nancy Pelosi, you have to hold Joe Biden accountable. Congress holds the president accountable. They're refusing to do that. Here we go again. There we go. And yeah, that does say Nancy Pelosi, Janet Yellen. And at that time, it was $6 billion, as you can see. Now, it's $6.75 billion. That's continued oppression. That means that I keep getting money day by day, and accumulation adds up every day. Now, to get this to the public, members of the media, the local, the national, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox News. This is national coverage. This is the biggest stage. Just like Watergate. Watergate was the checks and balances. They had to be checked. The president had to be checked. He decided to resign. Why? Because they caught. They are concealing this from the public. Why? Because once again, it's the same thing. They are caught and refusing to be held accountable for criminal acts under Title 18, Section 241, Title 18, Section 242. Those are officials violating the rights of we the people. Nobody never came with this. I figured it out. We have to figure out our own problems. But then again, we have to stand up. We have to unite. But it ain't just saying blacks have to unite. A nation has to unite. As you saw on Capitol Hill when Trump was president. It's the same thing with Joe Biden. Now it's kept up undercover, but it is no longer undercover because this is on YouTube. Hello. And I, as a veteran, stand for all the veterans who serve to protect our right to freedom, justice, and equality. Stand up for me. They always say, I thank you for your service. No, stand as a man for the Constitution of the United States. That's everybody. Every citizen must be a patriot to the Constitution, checks and balances. Now, here we go. So, now you see, once again, law enforcement, police, sheriffs, state police, U.S. Marshals. You need my glasses for this one right here. I'm veteran Deshae Miller, petitioner of the Constitution, checks and balances, which empowers the citizen to uphold the integrity of the Constitution. Being empowered, I have authority, meaning the power or right to give orders. I have the right to give orders. So I go to the FBI. I need to see Christopher Wray. He has given him orders to arrest those involved on Capitol Hill because, first of all, because Robert Conte refused to carry out the indictments and arrests. And last time I checked, no one is above the law. Now what he's doing, he's allowing them to corruption to flourish because he has not executed his duty. So now comes when the sheriffs and the police won't execute that, then it's time for the FBI. So FBI Washington field office, as you see. That's right. They need to go arrest Janet Yellen, refusing to set a date for a meeting, which is business for money owed by the rule of law. When you violate that right to the rule of law, you violate human rights. Again, that's a criminal act of oppression. So, the Constitution checks and balances uphold the integrity of the Constitution, requiring the judicial branch be checked for corruption, oppression, and organized crime. Law enforcement play a vital role in the integrity, executing the indictments and the arrests. Everybody listen, we have no rights unless they are enforced. And law enforcement has been called to execute these indictments and these arrests. Billy Bolton is on here. The Evansville chief of police called to arrest the assignment editors of the local media, such as Channel 14, 25, and 44, of which he refused to do. Because this is now common sense. This is the judicial branch of government. As we have a problem with police brutality, that is the judicial branch of government. So that has to be checked. That's where your corruption lies. It's common sense thing. Now, as I said, I am empowered to do this. I go, and as you see, you can see the seal, and I feel the seal, and you know it's real. Yeah, our own government. Of course, sooner or later, somebody had to figure out how do we stop police brutality. Protests all across the country, all around the world. How do you stop this? You do this through the judicial branch of government using the Constitution checks and balances. They must be checked. I'm empowered to uphold the integrity, order law enforcement to execute the indictments and arrest those involved, preventing the checks and balances, and those in disobedience to take absolute power with nothing to hold them accountable for the criminal acts under Title 18. You ain't got nobody to hold them accountable. So what do? You use the Constitution checks and balances. All you law schools, from Duke to Stanford, all across the nation, this is unprecedented for the citizen. Now, there's a transfer of power. Once again, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So, in order to do this, also, which is critical, is for Janet Yellen to pay the $6.75 billion. Oh, I'm only one of probably 12 or 13 black billionaires in America, but you don't want no more. Those you have under control. I work for We the People. Then you have loans. Then you have housing set up that is not police patrolled in the projects. Now they can get a place to stay, comfortable living, and all of this at a cheaper price and not a noose around their neck. You see what I'm saying, sir? That's what government does. There's a loophole in there. If you do this, well, we got to do this. If you do this, well, you're kicked out. Well, you got a man's family being kicked out because he went to jail and now that he's got a felony. Oh, he can't live there anymore. Oh, now he got to refinance with the government and now he got a felony, so they take his house? Come on, man. ESPN, wake up. Come on, man. Somebody wake up that the government has to be checked. I'm the petitioner of the Constitution's checks and balances. Now, included in this, I will show imposed slavery. Says, these are the transcripts, trial transcripts, which are irrefutable evidence of imposed slavery, violating the 13th Amendment. As at this point, there is no black people in the jury, and there are no black people in the jury panel. We have a right to object to that. I can tell you most important words in this transcript. I don't believe the law will support it, but I think that if we want to do that, Mr. Miller, who was me at the time, we need to do it right now. So I said, yeah, we'll object to that right now. Imposing a wall white jury on a black man. Now, as the next page shows, my client objects to the fact that none of the Virginia men nor the jury are black people. None of them are black people. As I said, irrefutable evidence imposed an all-white jury on a black man violates constitutional law. Number 250.2 with the 4 in parentheses. Now, and this is based upon an assertion that he is entitled to a jury of his peers. The component of race should be included in the concept of peer. The fact that there are no black people within this veneer, I think this causes the jury not to be a jury of my client's peers. Okay? Now, I'm going to put that up there. If any of y'all want to catch it, put it on pause. There it is in writing. Irrefutable evidence means impossible to deny or to refuse or deny the truth. As they said, the truth shall set you free. Now, it goes on to further state I don't think Indiana's in full compliance with the federal government motor voter registration law. As a result of that, we don't get a fair cross-section in the veneer. And as a result of that, my client's rights under the federal and state constitution to a fair and impartial jury as mandated, that means it's mandatory, through the 14th Amendment, that's due process, and through the federal legislation, I think that's been violated. Now, what does the court say? Show it overruled. Then I say, there is a violation, Your Honor. And he says, show it overruled, sir. Okay, we're going to start. The magnitude of what he just did, he just overruled the state and the federal constitutional right to a fair trial. There you have it. Now, they had to cover this up. So this goes to the United States Supreme Court, of which they it's a writ of certiorari using the habeas corpus. Now, as you see this, as it is dated and received, put the receipt up there. That's right, they got it, and there you see it. So, once again, petitioner is entitled to injunctive relief for my immediate release from illegal imprisonment with reparations from judgment of the proceedings in the Indiana Vanderburgh Circuit County Court that was so lawless that imprisonment pursuant to them is void, and therefore res judicata is inapplicable. And what the res judicata means is the previous judgment is void. It ain't no good. They did it using an unconstitutionally impaneled jury. Took my freedom. Took the freedom of a veteran. Hey. So now I'm back. And now I got power. See, they didn't want me to have no power. See, I went through all of the process to reach this to where a citizen is now empowered, okay? So now, as I said, the FBI had to take orders from me to carry out and execute these indictments and make these arrests of these officials, top officials. Oh, they don't want to do that. And it gets the foot up off of the neck and stops police brutality, stops inequality. This is for humanity's sake. But they covered that up, as you see. Like I said, this has been since February. Trump never did introduce it to you. Now it's coming out again because it's also on YouTube. And the government is corrupt, as I said. I mean, what we got here? The United States Supreme Court itself is corrupt. Now, they did this one time, as I said. The imprisonment cannot be shown to conform with the fundamental requirements of due process. That's your 14th Amendment, right? Now, after they did this, I ain't hearing nothing from them. So I do it again. There you go. You got the stamp on there. Oh, yeah. These are the legal documents of all of this, proving that the entire government must be checked. And, first and foremost, disburse $6.75 billion and add another black man by the rule of law, by the supreme law of the land. I am empowered using the checks and balances, and by the rule of law, I am a billionaire. But what are they doing? Here we go. Petition requires judiciary to account for a man's imprisonment. You can't lock nobody up and not have no reason why you did it. Now, come to find out, you violated. So now you don't want to be held accountable. That's what the checks and balances do. He's trying to escape the law. What? A criminal act. These are judges that have did this, denying the First Amendment right to freedom of speech press, which would require ABC, CBS, and NBC, and Fox News, and anybody, MSNBC. Can I miss anybody? I can't miss nobody. All of y'all have to inform the people that the government is corrupt, of which y'all have not done. Oh, and especially PBS. Judy Woodruff, Yamishi Alcindor. Oh, come on now. Y'all can't get these emails and everything and not be held accountable for your actions. These are criminal acts. Everybody got to be held accountable for their criminal acts, and this is what you done. This is for the biggest stage, and y'all concealing it from the public. Why? Because then the blacks no longer will be oppressed by police brutality. Because then we will have equality. Because then we stop social injustice. Oh, and then we have money to ease the pain. and get me paid real quick, fast, and in a hurry, because I need to be in Japan to see the Olympics. Shout out to Sherry Richardson. Blessing be upon you for however you went through and whatever you had to do. But please believe I will be looking out. That's right. That's right. See, I represent we the people. These are the rights of we the people that are being denied by government officials. That's right. That are our rights. That's what they're supposed to be done. So, what do you have here? Petition requires judiciary to account for a man's imprisonment. The judiciary or the justices of the United States Supreme Court, which must review it. They didn't do it then. They must review it and give judgment affirming or reversing the conviction, because I told you already. Res judicata is inapplicable. That conviction is void. That's right. And I'm supposed to restore all of my rights. That's right. As well as I am now a billionaire. As well as for humanity's sake, for our people's sake, it ain't just us. Like I said, these are the people, the patriots, trying to uphold the rights of the Constitution. Not one of these politicians, not the president, nobody came to you with something that was the solution to the problem. The solution is the Constitution's checks and balances requiring that they be checked. They are caught, and then, as I said, I stop police brutality. You have to have power over law enforcement to stop police brutality. That's where we went to the first part, where we were talking about a transfer of power, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This is the checks and balances, which will tell you why we need them and how they work. You see, once they done messed up, the power is transferred to the citizen to uphold the integrity of the Constitution. And I am empowered to give order. I have to have power to do that. You see what I'm saying? Now, those law enforcement who refuse to execute those, and they ain't refused nothing else before, but all of a sudden now that they caught, now that all of a sudden it's the judicial branch of government is involved in this, the checks and balances, same as the president. You got rid of the president, we're going to have to get rid of some of you judges, the United States Supreme Court, justices, that's right, y'all gotta go. gotta go. So you see why this is a government cover-up. As it states in here, it is natural that each part of the government would try to expand their powers. And you saw what happened with Trump expanding his powers and what happened when they come in. But all of a sudden, everybody knows that they wasn't treated the same way as blacks was. They didn't put the dogs on them. They didn't send the gas. They didn't gas them up. They didn't run out and beat them up. They definitely didn't choke none of them out. You dig what I'm saying? George Floyd. Somebody standing up because somebody need to testify. LeBron James, speak up now. I mean, you want to be the king? You said be a witness and acknowledge me. Acknowledge the Constitution checks and balances. Acknowledge our right to freedom, justice, and equality in America or anywhere else on the planet. Now, it says, it is natural that each part of the government would try to expand their powers. Congress would start making laws that make it more powerful. The president would use his power on the armed forces to gain influence, and the Supreme Court would cut deals with Congress. I told you what I just told you. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Covering up for each other now because they all caught. Congress by using his power to judge court cases. And the book says, judge not lest ye be judged. Well, you've been judged and it's time for you to be judged. You have to be checked just like anybody else. That upholds the integrity of the Constitution. And now, as we continue, the president used his power on forces. You might argue that no respectable politician would try unjustly to gain more power, but this is not true. What everybody says it. Those lawyers and everybody, lawyers, politicians, nothing but fucking liars. I can exit that out, but the truth is what the truth is, and I call it, and I got one for you. You can't make chicken shit with chicken salad. It's shit. That's what it is. The SH without the IT. Shh. But we know, as corruption, been corruption, always gonna be some corruption unless somebody steps up. Well, yo, judge, I'm at the plate in the battle boxing and pitching because it's going out. I'm a home runner. That's where we gonna do that. Even if only one part of government tried to give themselves more power, there will be chaos. Oh, you don't got a pandemic? That's chaos. Oh, that's what you got. A pandemic. Diversion from the Constitution checks and balances, which would, I'm a billionaire, stop police brutality and inequality and social injustice. And the white folks now have freedom of the press. Oh, you see, now, one law in the system of checks and balances is the law that allows the citizens to challenge any law that they feel is unjust. Well, once the law and that they don't like is passed, they can challenge it and bring it to law to the court. The law is then debated between a lawyer representing the law and the plaintiff. I am the plaintiff. You're supposed to bring on your best man. That could be Joe Biden. That could be the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland, who has also heard me see this. And guess what? It's the SH without the IT, because he ain't said nothing to nobody about nothing. And as you see, like I told you, they've been knowing this since February, since they first came into office. Oh yeah. So, this power is given to the people currently being exercised in many states. The system of the checks and balances is a fundamental part of the government. It is an essential part of the government. It is mandatory by law. It is absolutely necessary. It is crucial to securing the guaranteed rights of the Constitution to freedom, justice, and equality. Period. And end of that sentence. As I said, I am the petitioner of the Constitution, checks and balances. Like I said, it's got to be a showdown. And FBI Steven D Antuono, you need to go and arrest the Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, as I said, for continued oppression. And immediately pay me because I'm the petitioner. Now I'm gonna get real deep for you. I'm gonna show you what they did. Say, shut down the courts. Shut down the courts. I'm the petitioner. They want to bring me to court the checks and balances mean the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. Y'all still trying to run the court without shutting it down. It has to be shut down. Yeah, got to shut it down. I mean, come on now. We got people trying to get this. We got people on appeal and all this, and they in a corrupt system. Have to be shut down, cleaned up, and then continue. That's the process, right? Okay, then let's do that. But so, here they are. They cut down all the money. That's why I got, that's what it, hey, give me my money because it shuts down all. Now you're going to evict me. I'm eviction by a judge where the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. You a part of that. Shut it down. But no, what they doing? We're going to cut off his money, make him homeless, and put him out in the streets to die. Man with no money can't get water, can't get gas, can't pay the bills. I got veteran bills, I got hospital bills that happened to me while you had me oppressed, and now I gotta go get these boxes of food, which is detrimental to my health, and now I'm damn near dead. I'm just saying. So, as I've shown before the public and the people, President of the United States himself, Joe Biden, has refused to honor the Constitution's checks and balances. United States Attorney General Merrick Garland has also refused to honor the Constitution's checks and balances. The United States Supreme Court, again, refused to honor the Constitution's checks and balances not once but twice, which means they have no intentions of abiding by the law. But these are the law officials. No, it's time for them to go. I'm just saying. As I said, Washington field office, nobody is above the law, and since the sheriffs and the police didn't do it, that's now your duty to do that. But you so far refuse to do that. Steven D Antuono, yeah, what's the point? So, and also, I called, been at the FBI office in Washington, setting a meeting, and you've not confirmed that meeting. This is mandatory by law. You don't get to do this whenever you want to. You see what I'm saying? Now, like I said, the President of the United States does not get to address the Constitution checks and balances whenever he wants to. This is the law of the land. The Janet Yellen does not get to disperse the money whenever she wants to because it'll never happen. How you think it rose to $6.75 billion? That's continued oppression. They have no intentions. They've always tried to keep a black man down. That's the oppression part of this, as I said. Like I said, Mr. President, it says, number one, immediately address the Constitution checks and balances petition by veteran Jay Miller, which is an essential part of the Constitution, mandatory by law. What part of mandatory don't you get? Because you do, and you took office saying that you would comply with the law, of which you've been proven to be a liar, because it's been 6 months past. There it is, received by the courts. You see, there it is, certified mail number. Let's get that across there. Certified number to the President of the United States. Come on, man. Yo, this is what you took office. Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, checks and balances. You are supposed to be over here on this side defending the Constitution, checks and balances. Upholding the integrity of the Constitution. That's breaking news. Somebody posed the question, now that Trump is gone, are they running above board government? No. As I just showed you, you got the President. You got the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland, Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, Janet Yellen, Nancy Pelosi, oh my goodness, she just got all the, see, the smoke screen was, oh, y'all gonna address this with Trump? No, that's a smoke screen. You got to address the Constitution, checks and balances for the government to have any integrity at all. You don't get checked, there is no integrity. But you gotta be held accountable. Being held accountable, who gonna hold accountable? Government, other people, by the people, for the people. Petitioner of the Constitution, checks and balances is me, and I am empowered to hold them accountable. That's what I told you it does. Holds them accountable, secures the rights of the citizens, we the people. And then I got money for housing, banks, hospitals, schools, all of these things that we need. And of course, I represent we the people, see. There in doing such, there is no discrimination. There is no racism. Because I represent we the people, which is a melting pot. Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, did I get these? Okay, Mexican, Puerto Rican, black people. And all Black Lives Matter. Why ain't nobody stepped up? Okay, prime time, Dion. Yo, LeBron, ain't, y'all keep saying that y'all do it, but ain't nobody came to the source. This is the truth, and the truth shall set us free. This truth shall secure our rights to freedom, justice, and equality in America. I'm just saying, this is it. I presented the documents. The officials must be held accountable. They must step up. We can see that because they haven't done it. That's the breaking news. Thank you, America and the world. United Nations, get front and center. That's right. The whole world supposed to know about this.